Hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, 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 yo. Fellas, I see people yapping in the chat already. Love having people up in there early. What's up, yo? How y'all doing? Welcome into the Tuesday night 2-game slate. We got a 2-game slate tonight. We got a bunch of games canceled over the weekends. Have like 3 and 4 game slates. I'm not going to lie. I'm not looking forward to the 13-game slates, and there's going to be some crazy motherfuckers out there that are. Obviously, if you're paying attention, you got an edge. A lot of people are going to be out and about. We got some 13-game slates coming in the next couple of weeks. There might be one Friday, but definitely in the next couple of weeks, next Wednesday. But yeah, we got a 2-game slate tonight. Not great. I wish it was 3 or 4. I'd rather it be 13 than 2 from a playing perspective. And then a 3-game slate on Thursday. So, fellas, hope you all having a good day today. Yeah, man. It's nice. It's nice right now. It's been fun the last couple of days. You know, if you're ever on those heaters, you get like 4 days in a row that you're just winning everything, or you're finishing like top 5 in GPPs. I feel like I'm about to give it all back. But luckily, I'm not going to play all that we got back. We'll keep in our bankroll, if you will, certain percentages that we're playing. Like, subscribe, do all those things if you're watching live or on the replay. It's a late slate tonight, right? 9 p.m. start, so we're starting the stream up a little bit later. Hopefully that can get some extra people in here, coming home from work, whatever it might be on the East Coast. 5:15 or so, we started this bad boy off. I see a bunch of people getting loose in the chat. Yo, we got a lot of time to talk about these games. I'm going to be going through right now. I mean, just the 4 teams. We can go through all their minutes that I'm talking about, projections, rankings, all that type of stuff. Superdraft is linked down below on Patreon. And tonight's sponsor is going to be Jock Market, sponsoring these Tuesday NBA shows, still sponsoring our NFL shows, and hopefully more moving forward. All right, so what is Jock Market? Daily fantasy sports meets a stock exchange. Be sure to check it out, right? Take your phone out right now. I know everybody's got it as their third limb, right? As long as you got storage on your phone right now, and if not, delete some messages, because why you got them ones from fucking 2017 pictures of your cat, right? Delete that shit. And then download Jock Market in the Google Play Store, in the Apple Store. Download it. It's totally free to download. You can play in the free game modes as well, but you get to buy stock in players. So it's not going to like ramp up until like an hour before lock tonight, right? So like around 8 p.m. or so, it'll start to ramp up a lot. If you're looking at the market right now, it's going to be relatively dead. You can put some of your bids in, but you're likely going to be outbid later tonight. But the beauty of it is you can set a bid that's a lot higher than you expect it to actually sell for if you want to just secure yourself some action tonight. But if you're going to be around, which a lot of people in NBA building lineups will, around 8, 8:30, that type of stuff, as long as you have your phone around you. Yes, Jock Market notifications. Jock Market is the only app I have notifications on for right now, I believe. Yeah, Jock Market is the only app in my screen time app because I think that's just natural looking at my phone. So yeah, Jock Market, check it out. If you use the code SAL20, SAL20, you will get a $20 credit in your account when you download it. So be sure to check that out. Yeah, just buying shares of players. If you want to use the free version, you can, but the cash markets are very powerful. A little bit of a tidbit for you. On Jock Market. Right now, if you're going to be somebody that pays attention to the news, players being ruled in or out, you're going to have a massive advantage on Jock Market for players that are going to be lower owned, because people usually buy towards the top, which makes sense. Buy towards the top because those guys are likely going to score high. But you still get ROI for a guy who, instead of finishing, let's just say, out of 50 players in an NBA pool, every single position gets paid. But if you finish last, you only get $1. So if you buy them for like a $2 share, you're losing money, right? But if they're down there and now their projection is going to be pretty high and you only have 5 minutes to react to that, you're going to have upside. So if you have access to projections or just news like Fantasy Labs, you'll have a pretty nice advantage on any DFS platform compared to people who don't, but definitely on a spot like Jock Market where it's just real time, right? It's a real-time trading up until that bell hits at 9. So be sure to check out Jock Market. Any questions? I'm sure there's a lot of questions out there. Just let me know on that. But yeah, if you want to help out the channel, all you got to do is download the app. It takes 2 seconds of your time and you get a $20 credit. Promo code SAL20. Let's get into this bad boy. Let's get into this right now. Yeah, it's a smaller slate. Let me blow up the screen behind me. It's a smaller slate for sure. Not as much to be breaking down as always. There's some minutes projections we could talk through. I'll be talking about just relative to ownership and things like that, players that I think are going to be appealing on this 2-game slate. I'm about 150 maxing tonight, so exposures in terms of 150s won't be there. I usually build my single entry 3 max lineups as we go through. I've played around with them a little bit, but I'm sure I'm not going to finalize them until later today and try and get there. So the way to go through the slate as I look through the comments that are coming in, and we'll get to all your questions, but the way to go through the slate is leaving money on the table is fine, but this isn't the NFL. This isn't a showdown slate, right, in the NFL. You don't leave $1,500 on the table in the NBA because there's a big disadvantage to doing that. In the NFL, okay, you're choosing between 2 wide receivers. That's why you have $1,000 left. In the NBA, if you're going to be leaving money on the table, there's a really good chance that, look, if you put a guy in a utility spot and you're leaving $1,500 on the table, you probably could have paid up for like 12 different guys on the slate, right? Whatever the guy's salary might be, maybe 8 different guys. And it's really difficult to assume that you're just going to beat out all those guys. Now, if you don't care about winning first place, well then, sure, you can still cash with leaving money on the table. But your odds of winning first place by leaving a lot of money on the table, even on a smaller slate, are not the same as in the NFL and things like that. Duplicated lineups, if you leave $400 on the table, are not going to be as common as when they are in the NFL. So that's one thing. The second thing is don't be scared to get creative tonight. If you want to play both of these Denver centers, whether it's Mike Muscala and Isaiah Roby together, that's fine. If you want to just play 7 guys from one game tonight because you think that's going to give you a unique lineup, that's fine to me. There's a lot of ways to get creative tonight. Doesn't mean play shit players. It doesn't mean play tonight. Let's just see some guys in the slate like Isaiah Hartenstein, right? Who's going to be seeing 5 minutes. I'm projected for 4 minutes tonight for Denver. It doesn't mean play him at $3,000 flat. But if it means playing Pj Dozier tonight and Monty Morris together, don't love that. But if you want to get creative some way, right? You want to play Pj Dozier and Jamal Murray together, not a lot of people are going to be doing lineups like that. So getting creative in the NBA is different than the NFL. It's just not as simple as leaving money on the table. I'm all fine if you want to leave $300-$400 on the table. Once you start saying you're leaving $800 to $1,000, I start to question your chances of actually winning that night, because that player that you're playing basically just has to outscore everybody above them. And if their price point is lower, most of the time that's not happening. And the NBA is much more projectable than any other sport. So you're really, really taking a risk there if you're assuming that your lower price player is going to outscore 6 guys above him in the price. Notification gang for only the boy Sal. Best content in the biz. Happy Tuesday. My man, happy Tuesday. Max is on the notification gangs. Yo, be like Max. Be like Mike. No, be like Max. My man, MAX. Hit that notification bell, right? We've been trying to push that a lot, trying to get people up into these videos more often. I'm going to be trying to work on this week vlog number 5, so excited for that. Yeah, it's good shit. Fellas, what's up, Biz? How you doing, my man? Sal, what's your DK username? It is SallyBoy96, SALLY Boy 96. And then I think it's just Sal. I made that when I was like in high school, right? I think that was my PlayStation 3 gaming tag, just a nickname my dad used to call me, Sally Boy. But SallyBoy96 is basically my DK name, but then Sal Vetri, I think it's either S Vetri or Sal Vetri on Super Draft. I think it was S Vetri on Fantasy Draft. I assume it's Sally Boy on FanDuel, but I haven't been there in like 2 years. So if you're trying to look up any of my contests, yeah, I mean, I don't even think you can on FanDuel, but you're probably not going to find it. Time to get that DFS money today. Hey, my man's locked and loaded. Fellas, are we ready to get slapped around a little bit? Yeah, you ready to get smacked right now? Hey, you feel that? Oh, shit. Man, 2-game slate's going to be crazy for sure. You either hit big or you miss big, fellas, tonight. Yeah, for sure. Actually, I have a question. Been meaning to ask you, says my man Max. Outside of Super Draft, if I am primarily a FanDuel player, is there a benefit to your Patreon? Would love to support, just not sure if it makes sense for me. Yeah, so I'm going to be honest with you. Probably not. Like if you're an NBA player, because NBA is so different, you'll be able to somewhat see like, minutes projections, point per minute stuff, things like that. But I don't cover FanDuel. A lot of people ask me this. Maybe this is something to look forward to, as I currently have in the background. I really got to get on it maybe later tonight, tomorrow morning, sending some stuff to my web developer. My website guy, I don't even know if web developer is the way to do it, a friend of mine who's helping me build a website so we can just transition Patreon to there so I can have more access, right? Because I currently update everything manually. So maybe having the ability to update a little bit less manually will help me out and be able to add FanDuel. But I personally don't play FanDuel, so that's the reason why I don't like to have it on there, right? If I'm making projections for FanDuel, it's without playing it. Do I like doing that? I don't think there's anything completely wrong with that if I actually trust in the projections and I'm backtesting them. But for right now, it's just kind of like an extra hassle for me that I'm personally not using. And I know a lot of people don't play FanDuel as much as DraftKings. I play Super Draft, so that's why I have their projections. But yeah, maybe hopefully over this next month to 2, as that site gets loaded and everything, we can try to automate a lot more stuff so I can make FanDuel projections. But right now, I'll be honest with you, probably not. It's DraftKings projections for NBA. We have MMA, golf, NFL still over there. There's some other tools that are kind of no matter what, game by game notes for NFL, things like that. But it's gonna be somewhat of a different, not totally different, but definitely a difference on the two sites. Do you think it's a must to have Jokic in your lineup tonight? I think that's where I'm trying to start. Yeah. Especially in smaller field stuff where Jokic will probably be like 85 to 90% owned, you take a big risk by not playing him there. I don't think it's smart. It's like in cash when a guy's 90% owned. Like in smaller field stuff tonight, it's going to be like that. He's going to be 90, 95% owned. What is your actual benefit of not playing him? More times than not, he gets there. I don't think I said on the video this morning, I think he's going to be 80% owned. In a lot of the contests I play, he probably will be. In the main GPP tonight, probably not 80, but maybe 70% owned, and I think that's about right. Once you start getting to like 90% ownership in like the big one for $200,000 tonight, yeah, I would just blindly fade him at that point. But I'm not fading Jokic in the single entry stuff. If you play cash, you're not fading him at all. I'm not fading him in the smaller field stuff. But if he's 60% owned tonight, 65, 70, that's fine to play him anywhere. If he's 90%, you think he's going to be 90% owned in the main big contest tonight, 90% in cash is fine. 90% in smaller entry GPPs is fine for me. Single entry 3max for the most part. But in that big one, yeah, I mean, things can happen. Blowout run, he only gets 30-something fantasy points, 40-something fantasy points. That's not going to harm you as much when 90% of the field is playing him in those smaller contests in cash. But yeah, I think in the big one, the $18 buy-in for $200,000, which I might throw my main lineup in there. Like I did yesterday, I just throw my main single entry one lineup in there just because of FOMO if it actually binks. But for the most part, don't like playing those contests. yeah, I think that's the one spot where you can fade him. But right now, his ownership seems fine to play him in any type of contest. Yes, Jokic is a must on a 2-game slate. Yeah, right now, at the ownership levels, yes. If he was 95% owned, I would say no. That's not the case. But right now, yeah. I know Sal doesn't play FanDuel, correct. Or you'll be sitting there with no Jokic when he drops at least 60 tonight. Yeah, I mean, the man's like getting a triple-double nightly, it seems. Sal, my man, 5X last night. Thanks to you again. Yeah, man, we had a good night last night here as well. I'm trying to think. Last night, we turns, I think I ended up playing, trying to think, $800 and something in play, and we turned that into double the money, something like that. We won, or we finished 4th and 9th in 2 of the single entries. There wasn't a lot of contests yesterday, right? Since they split the slates, like the 4-game slate and the 3-game slate, wasn't a lot of contests. So that kind of sucked, especially when you have a good night and you can't get more money down, when I was actively trying to. So yeah, there was 2 slates. On the night slate, I played like $800. Couldn't get more down. I was trying to get more down, and it was just contests that had like $50 to first, and like I was trying to enter as many of those as I could, and then I was just like, all right, I don't need to keep doing this shit. But yeah, last night was a good night. Seemed like everything was working well. Main lineup, I played the two-game late night slate. Main lineup had both DeAndre Jordan and Wiseman, so I even had Wiseman in that lineup and still finished, I think, 9th overall in that contest with a 9 out of Wiseman. James, if you're playing in the Big 20, you can fade him for leverage. Yeah, you can fade him for leverage, but right now I think the ownership's fine where he's at. Murray or Mitchell on DraftKings tonight? So let me see where in my ranking. So you have to factor in ownership. I think Murray and Mitchell's ownership tonight probably is going to be something that I'm not too concerned about. Like I think they're going to come in pretty similarly owned, to be honest with you. I currently have, let me factor this by, I currently have them both as pretty comparable plays. For overall fantasy points, it's Mitchell for me. But if you're talking about value, I'll go with Murray. Murray, $900 less. I think Murray's the better overall play tonight. If you're just looking for fantasy points, though, and you have enough salary, then yeah, it's Mitchell for me. Somebody says, make the switch. Hey, yo, what's up, Jonathan? Somebody says, buy Bitcoin. Oh, let's get rich tonight, fellas. Hey, what about say Douglas Alexandris in your lineup tonight? Yeah, SGA, I'm not as much of a play towards, but I mean, on a small slate with a guy who's going to project out for a decent amount of points. He's my 10th overall play tonight, SGA. He is my 2nd highest projected player. So, I mean, if you're fading Jokic, you're probably trying to load up on the Brandon Ingrams, the SGAs, the Jamal Murrays, the Mitchells, those types of guys. I think SGA is likely to go a little bit over owned than he should tonight, given the context of the slate, given his price point. So SGA is fine. He arguably has, outside of Jokic, the best median projection on the slate. He does for me, and the best ceiling on the slate outside of Jokic. So yes, SGA is okay today, but I prefer to go elsewhere. I haven't said that all year long. They finally priced him up, and it's a smaller slate where there's some other guards significantly cheaper, like Jamal Murray, somewhat cheaper, like Mitchell, that I would rather get to as of right now. And the ownership on SGA is likely going to be higher than those two guys, so I'm fine to get away from it. 4 out of his last 6 games, 50-plus DraftKings points. I get all that, but I'm fine to get away from it at its current price point, because now at its current price point, anything under 50 starts to become not worth it on this slate unless nobody else goes off. Muscala and Roby in the same lineup, fine, says Zach. Yeah, I think it's fine tonight. Yeah, I think it's okay tonight. I really don't have too much interest in playing Muscala, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. He's in play for me, but Roby is the by far premier option. That's going to be reflected too. So Muscala is in my interest. He's in my player pool, but he's not a priority like Roby is tonight. That's going to be reflected in ownership too. Like Mike Muscala won't come anywhere near. I would assume the ownership as like a Roby. Roby will be easily double the ownership you should see. Like Roby might be pushing the same ownership as Jokic tonight. If Jokic is like 65, 70% owned, Roby probably 55% owned. I would say Mike Muscala, 25%. Doubt he hits 30%. So you can definitely play them both together. Just they directly cut into each other, right? They're checking in and out for each other. So if Roby plays 26 minutes, you want Roby to do as well as he can, right? So you want Roby, if they both score 30, that's great, but I highly doubt that happens. For it to work out for you, you probably need Roby to get like 26 and Muscala to get like 24. That can happen, but they're not as cheap as they once were, right? Muscala is still somewhat cheap, but Roby's price point has come up to $4,100. He's no longer $3K flat. So, yeah, I think it's okay on a 2-game slate. You have to get creative, like I said. I think you can get 24 plus out of both of those guys in a ideal situation, but they're going to cut into each other's minutes. So you need Muscala to play very well in 18 minutes of play or 20 minutes of play, and then you need Roby to get his minutes and not get into foul trouble, which fouled out in the last game, continues to get into foul trouble. A matchup now against Jokic is kind of concerning in terms of staying out of foul trouble for both of these guys. So, yeah, I think Muscala and Roby are both fine plays. Roby's the better overall play. Muscala is a fantastic play considering he'll be only like 25% owned on a small slate, which everybody's going to be like 25 to 30% on. So I think that's appealing because especially if Roby's double or triple the ownership, the second Roby starts getting in foul trouble, if that happens, Muscala is a direct beneficiary of that. Again, no Al Horford tonight. I've been on a losing streak for like 2 weeks now. My man, 808 kicks. I mean, well, here's the thing. If you're playing just GP, if you're playing cash, I mean, that's just flat out bad. You're building bad cash lineups, not optimals. But if you're playing GPPs, a couple questions. What are your contest selection? One, biggest thing. We talked about that in the video this morning. By far the biggest thing, outside of actually having a bankroll to play with and not just putting 100% of your bankroll night. If you have $100 in your DraftKings account tonight and you're playing all 100 of it, I mean, I guess I'm okay with that because it's just $100. Like if you had 1,000, you're playing all 1,000. That's probably pretty dumb. Unless you're differentiated against 150 lineups, not just one. But what is your contest selection? If you're playing proper contest, you probably shouldn't have lost 2 weeks in a row, if I'm being completely honest with you. But, like, not a single night of cashing. But that's just what happens in GPPs. Only 20% of the field wins. So you're just on a really bad path right now, right? In terms of you can evaluate your game, but it could just be bad coincidence, variance, right? If you're talking about a year sample, if you look back on your entire chart, whether you're using a tracker chart, your own Excel chart of your DFS profits and losses throughout the year, you're going to find a couple stints in there where you don't win for a week or don't win for 2 weeks, right? And it doesn't have to be anything wrong with your game. It could be your contest selection. It could be your game, the way that you're playing and properly putting like shooting guards into your utility spot, not getting as many power forwards and centers and ball handlers into your lineup as possible, right? Some of the small things you could do lineup construction-wise that we have linked down below in the PDF from a couple of years ago that I wrote. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to evaluate, but end of the day, you can lose for a month straight in DFS. I mean, if you lose every single night, that's bad. If you're losing like 30 nights in a row, but that can happen, right? Slates-wise. You should start evaluating it after a month. 2 weeks is like the breaking point of like, okay, what are the contests I'm playing? What's going on here? Great golf video. Do you factor in the tee times for showdowns as in favoring early or late? You are young. It's time to risk your bankroll. What do you mean it's time to risk my bankroll? What are we talking about here? What was that? What was that about? Risk my bankroll. I'm young. No, man. I just moved my retirement stuff into a target fund on Vanguard. So, I mean, that's just going to take care of the risks that I'll do there. But yeah, I mean, I'll take some risks in terms of rental properties, but not right now. But yeah, the bankroll, I'm not going to risk it. No, I'm not going to play improperly for the Millie Maker and stuff because I just don't play the lottery. So I'm not going to play that. Do I factor in tee times for showdowns? Not really. I mean, if there's weather, yeah, right? But not really. No, I'm not going to be like, okay, long term. Maybe we'll get to the point where data can actually significantly show a strong correlation between this guy's way better in the afternoons, right? But we don't have that yet, so it's just me guessing and I'm going blindly. If there's weather that's saying like it's going to be downpouring at this time, right? And we've seen those like, okay, the cut line or the average score in the afternoon has been 2 strokes more, then yeah, I mean, I would try to factor that in on showdowns. The big thing that I do factor in after night one, round one showdowns, when I do play showdowns, is not so much tee times. It's more so looking at the night before splits, strokes gained putting versus strokes gained tee to green. If players are playing very good tee to green, odds, and they played very bad putting, odds are that putting bounces back because it's so variant. So those are guys that I try and hit. But thank you. If you haven't watched the golf video, it literally just dropped like a half hour ago. We got pretty wild in that one because I recorded it like an hour or two ago, so in the afternoon, so I can get a little bit more fresh. I'm awake. I can talk a little bit more. My brain's working a little bit more. It's fun. Broke even after taking down first to third and sixth in a contest on Sunday. 10x return on Sunday. Let's fucking go, my man. Let's go. 10x return on Sunday. My man is beasting right now. Let's go. All right, let's get into these motherfucking questions. What's we got? Fade Jokic in a 3,000 player pool. In a 3,000 person contest. I'm not trying to fade Jokic right now in that. No, I personally won't be. I'm going to be trying to play Jokic tonight. And if my lineup looks good, if I can get creative with like 4 guys, 5 guys from a team, whatever it might be, I haven't built my single entry 3 max tonight. That's what I'm going to be going for. I have no interest in fading Jokic right now. The only way fading Jokic works out for you is if you get massive foul trouble. And the thing is, like in a lot of your contests, if he's 80 or 90% owned, yeah, if you don't play him and something goes wrong, you have a really good chance to win. But your downsides of playing him aren't even that high. Like if you play Jokic and he's 85% owned in like a 1,000 person contest or 90% owned in cash, you can still cash, right? And a 50-50 tonight, Jokic is a no-brainer because even if he goes out there and scores 25 points, he's in 90% of the field's lineups, 95%. So it doesn't even matter, right? It doesn't even matter. You just play him. Your downside is actually not playing him because of how often he gets there. My first cash on Jock Market last night with Anthony Davis advice. Thank you, fella. Let's go. You saw that stuff, right? We were talking about it live right before it locked. Anthony Davis was way underpriced. He was fucking fine. I think I cashed $2. I hope my shares didn't get stolen. I never checked. I kept getting notifications, so I hope that I was cashing. But yeah, we were watching that live together yesterday. Unfortunately, we will not be live for the next 3.5 hours until the Jock Market closes tonight. But yeah, man, Anthony Davis was only like $5.50, and then he almost had a career high last night in points. Fantastic at Anthony Davis. Yeah, man, get in on the Jock Market. Again, if you're watching this right now, one of the couple hundred people watching this, take 2 seconds of your time, download Jock Market right now on your phone. I know it's right by you. Download it, and when it says do you have a promo code, it should pop up for you. You just type in Sal20, you'll get a $20 credit. If it doesn't pop up for you. Some people are saying it doesn't. I don't know if that means you have an older phone. You just go to your account, like the little icon in the top left corner, and you just go to referrals, and then there'll be a thing that says click here to enter your bonus code. But yeah, because then you can just play, or you can just play the free mode anyways, and you can play for cash. But yeah, yo, what's good, Sal? What's going on, man? Should you leave any money on the table? Yes, no, Chris, what's up, man? I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the show, but we touched on it. Leaving money on the table, not a lot. I'm not trying to leave a lot, even on a 2-game slate. This is not the NFL. The NFL, leave as much as you want. Leave $1,000 in a showdown slate, right? Leave a couple $100, whatever, here and there. You want at least $200, $300, $400 on the table, maybe $500. I'm fine with that. But when you start leaving $1,000 on the table in the NBA, like leaving $1,000 on the table tonight, let's say you're playing a guy like you have Gary Harris in your lineup and you have $1,000 on the table tonight, right? Let's see how many guys are above Gary Harris. Basically, every single guy, assuming that like somebody can build a lineup and put that player in the utility spot, we're just using Gary Harris as an example. Doesn't mean you should be playing him in the utility spot. Doesn't mean you have to play him at all. Just an example here. I'm pulling up the DraftKings salaries on my end. If you were to play Gary Harris tonight and you had $1,000 left on the table in your lineup, so this is just to show you, that means that Gary Harris tonight is what, $4,400. So $1,000 left on the table tonight means that everybody between $4,400 and $5,400 would have to score less than Gary Harris for that to work, in theory, right? Because somebody else in the player pool or a couple other people are going to have those guys above him. So Paul Millsap, Jermichael Green, Diallo, right? Josh Hart, Joe Ingles if he plays, Dort, O'Neal, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. That's like, 10 guys right there that you're going to have to hope Gary Harris outperforms. And I know we chose Gary Harris, not a great fantasy producer, so you might be saying like, okay, yeah, obviously he's not going to outperform those guys, but just pick any of these guys, right? Even if you think that Lou Dort's a good play and you want to leave $1,000. He still has to outbeat O'Neal, Bojan, Baisley, Alexander-Walker, Barton, Bledsoe, Adams, all these guys. And we can keep going, right? Lonzo if he plays, Clarkson. That's a lot, right? So I'm not trying to leave more than a couple hundred on the table. And I'm not actively trying to leave money on the table tonight. Right? If I just like my lineup and I'm playing tonight, let's just say I'm playing Lonzo Ball over Eric Bledsoe and I like my lineup and there's $300 left, or Bledsoe over Lonzo, yeah, I'm fine with that. Hey, Sal, let's get these Dollar Rooskies. Yo, I got the Dollar Rooskies t-shirt on right now, actually. I think I wore it this morning in the video. I might have worn it. I just wore it in the golf video. I got it on underneath this. I don't know why I keep forgetting to get it on, but hold up. We got the Dollar Rooskies t-shirt. You guys see this shit? Look at that. Not bad, huh? It's a little bit scrunched up. Dollar Rooskies. Pretty fucking cool, huh? It came while I was home, actually. Pretty nice. Murray over Ball tonight with MPJ still out. Should we trust he should have a huge game soon? What do you mean Murray over? What do you mean Murray have a huge game? Murray just had a big game. The last time that they played, Murray just scored, 47 fantasy points, 46 fantasy points. So, yeah, I mean, I think Murray's been pretty inconsistent this year. I think his fantasy point per minutes are definitely going to come up from his .93 average this year, .97 with MPG off the court. So, I like Murray over Ball tonight, but it's a pretty big price difference. But, yeah, I definitely like Murray over Ball tonight. I think Murray's the better play. I think there's questions around Ball's minutes because it's not like Ball was dealing with a shoulder injury. He's dealing with both of his knees being hurt. He's already shooting terrible to start the year. Now he's getting pressure from Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's probably a better offensive player than him at this point, at least from a pure scoring standpoint. So, yeah, I'm okay to go to Murray over Ball, definitely. Hey, would you pay down at small forward position today? So let's pull up the small forward position on DraftKings. I can't really touch on FanDuel, I personally don't play it, so I don't cover it. So your small forward options today are naturally going to be pay downs if you're not playing Brandon Ingram. Nobody else is above 6,000 because you have Porter Jr. still out. So, yeah, I mean, if you're not playing Brandon Ingram today, you're probably paying down. Now, the question becomes, how much are you paying down? The 5K range, in my opinion, is pretty dead, right? You have Will Barton. You have Bojan, who's been bad. You have Baisley, who, in my opinion, is a little bit overpriced now. You have O'Neal, who, in my opinion, is overpriced. Dort is just meh. He's okay at that price point. So, yeah, I'm naturally paying down. Now, where am I paying down to? Not that many options on the slate, so you're kind of forced into playing a Pj Dozier, a Gary Harris, or a Diallo. So, yeah, like, first look right now on this, that's probably the range at small forward if I'm not playing Brandon Ingram, not sold on that yet. That's probably the range that I'm going to. I think that Diallo becomes a pretty appealing option on the slate because of the ceiling that he has. I do not think that you see massive ownership on Diallo relative. Like, he's going to be like 20% owned, but again, he's probably going to be outside the top 15 in ownership tonight. So considering that the position is bad, if you're not playing Brandon Ingram, which, like, if you want to look at the slate right now, if Brandon Ingram goes out there tonight and he just does his season average tonight of 42 fantasy points, might not be another guy in the slate that touches 25 at the small forward position that you could play tonight on DraftKings. So there's the argument that just pure fantasy point upside for the position, Brandon Ingram is a massive advantage tonight. But if you're not trying to pay up for him because you're playing Jokic or like some of those other guards a little bit more, Bojan's been better as of late. Bojan would be my first priority if you're not paying all the way down. And then after that, I start to look towards guys like Diallo, Pj Dozier at a really punt option all the way down at the bottom. He's still playing big minutes, right? Pj Dozier's still playing big minutes, even though you got Gary Harris back. You still saw him in that last game play 28 minutes. You've been seeing him probably locked in right now. I gave him 24 minutes in this game. I feel pretty comfortable about that with a little bit more of a ceiling there. Not the same type of usage player as he was last year, and not the same type of assist player when he was in the bubble, really balling out. But if he's going to get the minutes, and he's really been coming on these last couple of games, it's something that's at least appealing. So yeah, paying down, I prefer it small forward. Excuse me. Hey Sal, who is your favorite point guard play tonight? Yeah, it's a loaded point guard position. I think that George Hill is the best value point guard tonight, but I think the ownership's a little bit too high on him. So I probably stay away from that. It's a fair price point, but I think my favorite point guard is probably going to be Jamal Murray tonight. It's early, right? All these guys look pretty similar between SGA, Mitchell, Murray. I think that my favorite point guard tonight, factoring in the price, will be Jamal Murray. I think $7,300 is a fair price point for him, but you look at the other options. SGA is a little bit overpriced in my opinion. Mitchell is right on appropriately priced, same exact thing as Murray, but you get a cheaper price point on Murray. So I think that right now Murray's probably my favorite point guard option. If you're looking for value, sure, George Hill. But if you're just saying overall on the slate, it's probably Murray right now. Question for you, Sal. Okay, so we already answered the pay down option. Cool. Is it okay to spend down to Muscala instead of Roby for slight salary savings? Yes. The thing that you're going to be dealing with there, though, is you're going to probably – Muscala can get you there, but you're probably going to have to hope that Roby gets in foul trouble, which can happen against Jokic, for that not to bite you in the butt, right? Roby's by far the best value play in the slate tonight. Like, it's not even close. Roby was going to play around 28 minutes in that last game. He fouled out, 3 fouls in like the final couple of minutes of the fourth quarter. That allowed Muscala to play an extra 3 minutes in regulation and an extra 5 minutes in overtime. Muscala in that last game was only going to play like 19 minutes, right? I have him projected for 21 today, but Muscala was not going to play big minutes. They like Roby. They actually have a prospect in Roby. Muscala is somebody that might not even be on this team halfway through the season at the trade deadline, right? So Roby is somebody that is, in my eyes, considered a lock tonight as long as he's starting. The only concern you have with Roby tonight is the foul trouble against Jokic. Like, this is a guy who has a high foul rate, just fouled out. So yeah, Muscala would be a very strong play, not hoping that he just outscores Roby or outminutes him, but your kind of hope there is that Roby gets in foul trouble. Because if Roby's playing 26 minutes tonight, it's really hard for 20 minutes out of Muscala to really get you there. It can happen still, but you're probably hoping that the minutes are closer to 24-24, either because of foul trouble for Roby or Muscala's just playing nuts off the bench, right? What else we got? We got a lot of people in here. Somebody says, any B-Lo. I don't know why I'm not knowing who B-Lo is. I don't know why I thought that it said Brook Lopez at first. I don't know why I'm not knowing who B-Lo is if you want to clarify that. I don't know if you mean Diallo and not B-Lo. I don't know if you mean Diallo. But yeah, let me know. Let's get fellas. Torty going one day in DK. All play against each other. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could set it up. I think that would be pretty fun, so I would have to set it up. In the past, I had somebody else set it up, and then I didn't want to be a part of it anymore, and I just couldn't get the fuck out of it. I had to email DraftKings. Rodgers is going to abuse that Bucks D this weekend. Yeah, I mean, it should be an easy game. Any blowout worries in OKC tonight? For sure. I think that there's a decent chance. Now, do I think it's favored? No, I don't think that there's a 55% chance of blowout tonight. I'd say 20% chance that this game blows out, which is relatively high for the NBA, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely a chance. Be like Max Holloway. Crazy performance last weekend. Yeah, man. That was fucking nuts. That might be the most iconic moment in UFC history. Right? There's the Anderson Silva fight that I saw MMA Lowton, who's going to put content on the channel on Thursday, put out there. That was pretty cool. But that might be the most iconic moment in UFC. The man fucking breaks the records for as many significant strikes landed to the face, the body, the attempts in general, 740-something attempts. By far smashed the previous record. And then during the fight, did he get hit? Does anybody that's understanding what I'm talking about, check out the video on YouTube, Twitter, Google, whatever. Max Holloway just talking to Dana White and just the announcers during it, just saying that he's like the best fucking boxer in the UFC. And then he's just screaming while he takes a jab while looking away, which is just fucking foul. Like, just vicious, that man, savage. But does he get hit when he's walking backwards at all? Because if he doesn't get hit, I couldn't tell. I assume no. But if he doesn't get hit at all when he's walking backwards, he's just walking backwards, not even looking and dodging it 4 times. That's just savage. I assumed he just took the punches for the hell of it. Muscala, Barton, Bogdanovich, or Murray, Dozier, and I can't pronounce Pokey. We're going to call him his last name. I'm sorry. But definitely the first one. Pokey, let's see. Pochesky. That's actually easier than I thought, if that's right. Pochesky's, I have him for 12 minutes tonight, so I can't get there, right? I would much rather play the guys that are actually going to play minutes. Around 20 for Muscala, around 30 for Barton, around 30 for Bogdan or Bojan Bogdanovic. Harris or Morris tonight? I will be going with Morris. Sal, is a dead sentence to fade Roby? No, because you can get foul trouble. But other than that, yeah, like Roby's going to play 26 plus minutes, probably 28 more times than not tonight if there's no foul trouble. Is it a death sentence? No, but you're rooting for foul trouble there, which is more than possible. Will Jokic and Roby highest owned, will you play them? With them being the highest owned, yeah, right now both of those guys are very interesting to me, and I'll be trying to play them in my lineups. If my lineups need an extra couple $100, then I'll get off of Roby to go to Muscala, but only if I really want to go up somewhere else. And then I'm really leveraging some foul trouble, and I'm more so leveraging that play that I can get up to, whether I'm getting up to now a Jamal Murray instead of like a Jordan Clarkson, something like that, right? Thoughts on JaMychal Green? Yeah, JaMychal Green's one of the better value plays in the slate tonight. Just high usage, right? He's kind of taking on to an extent. He's been backing it up now lately. Like he was starting a couple games. Paul Millsap was out. Now he's backing up a little bit more. Started a couple games early on when Michael Porter Jr. and Harris were out. Backing up a little bit more. But yeah, he's kind of taking on to a lesser extent this Jeremy Grant role, with Jeremy Grant now in Detroit, and he's getting high usage. He's taking on a high rebounding rate, and he's averaging over a fantasy point per minute. So I only have him at 22 minutes, but on a slate like this, yeah, JaMychal Green looks pretty good today as value. Now, that's not going to be like hidden. He's not going to be low owned, but he's also not going to be massively owned. Like you're going to see Roby a lot higher owned. I think JaMychal Green comes in with average ownership for a 2-game slate. The problem is the minutes, right? He can just he's pretty stably, it seems, locked into like 20 to 22 minutes, but we've been seeing him basically playing, just looking at Popcorn Machine right now, we've been seeing him basically playing behind Paul Millsap. And Paul Millsap's not playing more than like 24 minutes a game. So you're getting these performances out of JaMychal Green at 27 minutes, 23, 22, 28. This last game, he still played behind Paul Millsap, but he was also backing up to an extent Jokic, so he wasn't playing next to Jokic. He only gets 20 minutes of play. Now, he only shot 2 of 8, right? He didn't really do much in that game, and even in 20 minutes of play, he still puts up 15 fantasy points. So if we can get these 22 minutes out of JaMychal Green, I'm not expecting much. I'm expecting around 20 fantasy points tonight, but there's definitely the upside if he plays 22, 24 minutes to score you closer to 25 points, and his projection or his ownership is not really coming in near that. So yeah, I like JaMychal Green a good amount. Thoughts on Jokic on Superdraft tonight? Yeah, Jokic on Superdraft is going to look fine. I mean, Jokic is not, I would say, somebody that I would be trying to get away from on Superdraft. Like, who are your other center options on Superdraft? Rudy Gobert? It's really not close, especially when Jokic right now, he has a 1x multiplier, but Gobert is only 1.3x. I currently have Jokic for about 10 more points than Gobert. The way that it works out for you for fading Jokic on Superdraft is, again, Jokic gets in foul trouble, which against Isaiah Roby and Mike Muscala would seem pretty damn difficult to do, right? And Darius Baisley and these types of guys. Join the 222, Sally. I want to see your best line. Yeah, I haven't joined any contests yet. Sally Boy, somebody says, yeah, I haven't joined any of the contests yet. I mean, we got, 3 hours and 10 minutes, so I'll be joining them later today. I'm not playing any 150s today. It's just, a 2-game slate. I usually don't play 2-game slates, but I'm sure I'll end up playing this one tonight, and I'll be in bed before halftime even happens, so much joy out of playing it. But yeah, I'm looking at the contest. This $18 $1 million just wasted on a 2-game slate. Not that many good contests at all. Holy shit. Like, I'm scrolling right now. Like, this is what happens when there's just a 2-game slate. Let me actually factor this by total prizes. 2-game slate. There's the 222, but it's 750 people. That's a little bit high. 22 entry max. I don't really want to play more than like 2 lineups in that thing. Yeah, the 222 is not that great of a contest tonight. Let's see if there's a secondary 222. There's a 150 max, 3 entry, only 185 people. I'm definitely playing that, 5K to first. I'm actually going to register for that right now, so I'll reserve my spot. There's only 10 spots left, so let's fucking reserve this real quick. Yeah, the 222 is not appealing, but if you're in the 150, you'll see a lineup. There's a chance I play the 222, but 750 people, a little bit big for not being a single entry at 3 max for what I would like to play. You might be saying, what do you mean it's a little bit big? There's 65,000 people in the big one. Yeah, and that's a lottery system. Let's see if there's any other one. So the 150s looks good. There's only 10 spots left or 12 spots left in that. There is a $55 contest with 413 people, 12 entry max. It's not bad. Is there any other 222s that are cheaper, but there's just no prize pools? That's the issue. The prize pools quickly drop off. Like, there's a single entry, 16 people single entry. That's a little bit too small now because only 4 people get paid. So you really have to start to be perfect. I like these ones that are around 100 to 500 people. So that one looks good. Maybe we'll enter the 222, but not a lot of contests in it. I mean, I'm going to enter all these $3 and $2 single entries that I can still enter, $5 single entry. All those I'll enter, but just looking for some bigger ones. That 150 contest, the 25K posterizer looks like, in my opinion, it looks like the best contest tonight in the entire pool. Yeah, it's a 3 max. So, yeah, that's the best contest tonight. I mean, there might have been one earlier that I'm missing, but that one looks the best. So I just reserved that. If it's a blowout, Jokic likely contributes to the blowout. Hard to fade him. Exactly. Yep. I mean, like the way you get away from Jokic's injury, not going to bank on that, and foul trouble. Blowout, yeah, he likely contributes with, I mean, on a 2-game slate, even if he's only scoring 50 tonight, there's a chance that that's the highest scoring on the slate still. Sal, thoughts on SGA? Yeah, SGA's ownership right now I think is a little bit too high for what his salary is. Love SGA. All season long I've been playing him. This will be like literally the first night that I don't play him in probably my single entry lineup like all year. And it's really been working out these last couple of week and a half. But if SGA is going to be like maybe the third or fourth highest owned guy tonight, I can't really, like the ceiling on SGA is massive. It's 60 plus. It's right around there. But the amount that he gets to that ceiling is probably similar to the amount that Jamal Murray gets to his 50-point ceiling. Is Jokic your favorite center on Superdraft? Yes. Ingram or Zion tonight? Conley or Lonzo? Those are actually two very good questions. Ingram is going to be coming in probably less owned than Zion, factoring in price. I still prefer Zion tonight over Ingram, even with that in mind, because of the price mainly, because of how much of a priority Jokic is tonight. Can't get away from him, in my opinion. And then between, you said Mike Conley and Lonzo, I'll be going with Conley there. It's not a strong want to go to Conley. I do think that Lonzo, because of the questionable tag, will probably be coming in a little bit lower owned than he should tonight. But I'll go with Conley there. Just secure. Let's see. It's really a toss-up between those two. Conley comes in for me as my number 9 overall play. Lonzo a little bit lower because I'm only giving him 33 minutes tonight. Yeah, I'll go with Conley there. The ownership's not that far off. It's still off, but it's not that far off. Give me Conley. I mean, Lonzo dealing with 2 knee injuries and just brutal shooting performances. I don't think that you see Nickeil Alexander-Walker go down to like 8 minutes tonight. I think he plays 16 minutes, and I think that means Lonzo, instead of playing 35, 36, plays like 32. I need help, Sal. I've been in a slip. What's your question, my man? What's your question? Sal, Jokic and Murray, run it back with Beasley. Hope SGA flops. Thanks, man. Great stuff. Or Baisley, you mean? Yeah, I think that's fine. I think you don't even need SGA to flop. If SGA scores 40 tonight, it's not the same of when he was $7,600 2 weeks ago, right? He's $8,700. So now you need SGA to score you 45 for him to really be worth it, because there's guys like Jamal Murray, Rudy Gobert, Zion, Brandon Ingram, right? All these guys, Mitchell. Like, if any of those guys just pay off their salary more, assuming that Jokic does his thing and just gets you 50 plus, it's hard for SGA. You not only need SGA to hit that 50 points yet again, which he's been doing pretty frequently, but you not only need that to happen again in a difficult matchup for him, you need all those other guys to flop. So, yeah. Sal, you talk about contest selection in your video earlier was spot on. Last week I started playing smaller field 20s only, and I went from negative $700 lifetime on DraftKings to a plus $500 player. Holy shit. I mean, that's massive, right? That's a $1,200 difference in your lifetime earnings. So, obviously, massive contest selection we talked about earlier. If you haven't watched the video, you're watching this live stream, so you're getting some knowledge, but just watch the first 5 minutes of the video from this morning if you haven't yet. I basically just talk about contest selection. The moral of it was, last night I played not a lot of contests because there was a bunch of slates going on, but I played the 333, I played the 222, I played like all the small dollars, $5 buy-in, $5 single entries and like below. There wasn't that many other great contests. I didn't play the 333 or like if there was a $55. And then I played the $15 late slate with like 20K to first. I just put my single entry lineup into that. Well, it was a very good lineup. It ended up finishing 4th on the night slate. 4th in that contest was like $1,000. So on a 222 buy-in, we like 5X'd. Ideally, I would have liked to finish first and taken home the $5,000 prize pools, right? But we finished 4th. It was a good night. But that exact same lineup, by just putting $15 into the big tournament, it finished like 200 and something, which is good out of 20,000 people or whatever it was. Maybe not that many people, but somewhere around there. But it only won $40. And the whole point of that is I turned my $15 into 40 in that one. I turned my 222, which I get it. It might not be your buy-in, but there's other contests that are structured the same way. Then instead of being 222, it's a $20 buy-in and first place is $100, or your 4th place finish is 100, right? It scales the same way basically. But there's a lot of people that just play 3 lineups into the big tournament. And even when you have a fantastic lineup, you're turning your $15 into $40. And if you're playing 3 lineups and that's the only one that pops off, you literally lost $5 that night, even though you had a fantastic lineup. You should be rewarded from when you actually play well, right? So you're never rewarded. Unless you're playing 150 maxes and you're a professional and you think you're just as good as the people doing those, you're never probably going to be rewarded for playing the big tournament. You won't, right? Long term, you won't. And now I know there's a couple people out there that get extremely lucky and hit first place. But if you're living your life to try and win the lottery, you're probably taking way too many risks, in my opinion, right? If you're going through life at like 40 or 50 saying, well, I'll hit the lottery tonight and everything will go away. You gotta make a plan, right? So, yeah, I just hate when I hear people saying like, hey, I've been losing for 2 or 3 straight weeks. What's happening? Yeah, you're playing the lottery, right? you're going to be losing for 30 years, and then you'll win $10,000 after you put $50,000 in, right? Yeah, like there's a reason why the lottery is one of the most profitable things, right, for the state. There's a reason why. Same thing as the reason why these big tournaments, they put the high prize pools up top, and the rake, they scrap off those bad things. Those bad boys is lovely for them. Still cash last night, even with TLC a 0 bomb. Oof, playing TLC last night. Yikes. He scored 0? I saw he was playing in the game. I was watching the game. Jesus Christ. Is it good to start Jokic with SGA? I'll probably not prefer SGA tonight. If the ownership was low on SGA, he's a great play, right? He becomes a great play on this type of a slate. He has that 50-point upside, 60-point upside that we just saw the other day, albeit overtime. But with SGA going to be one of the most popular plays on the slate tonight, just give me one of the other guards that can put up 40 or 50. Donovan Mitchell. In a very similar price range, you have Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, you have Zion, right? Good-ass projections last night. Sal made a lineup with all the yeses pretty much, and he doesn't say in one, but I assume based on that comment, you won. So nice job. Yeah, projections are down below. Let's scroll down to some other minutes here. Just so you have something else to look at on the screen. We'll go OKC on the screen right now. Mitchell had a shit night last night out. I can see his ownership dipping. Yeah, on a small slate, it's only going to dip so much, but yeah, I mean, not really. Like, it's only going to dip so much, right? Like Mitchell, I assume, is borderline top 5 today in ownership because he grades out decently. He doesn't look fantastic, but he just looks decent. I prefer right now Jamal Murray, but nothing wrong with Mitchell either. Wiseman fucked my lineups. Yeah, I had him as I had him in my main lineup. Still ended up finishing 9th on the 4-game slate. So I guess it didn't matter too much because I played both Wiseman and DeAndre Jordan in my main lineup for that 4-game slate, which the question was kind of which one do you play? Like they're the same price point. They look pretty similar. Played them both, and that ended up working because DeAndre Jordan was really low owned. Fellas, smash that like button and gently caress the subscribe button for Sal. I appreciate that, Garrett. Appreciate you, my man. We got currently 550 people in here. Yo, hit that like, hit that subscribe. I appreciate that stuff. Hey, how do you feel about Diallo tonight? I like him. Not that many small forward options tonight. Like, assuming that you're not playing Ingram, your options are like Bojan, who's been playing better as of late, or a guy like Diallo, who has a pretty massive ceiling. The problem is, like, what are the minutes out of Diallo? He really has to get you there in 20 or 22 minutes. They don't usually give him more run. Josh Hart or Diallo at small forward. I'll be going with Diallo, assuming that you get the return tonight of Lonzo, which I assume you do. Hart or Reddick? Hart for sure. Brother, what's up, Sal? What's going on? Artful, how you doing? Expecting a Hill and Baisley bounce back. Yeah, I mean, Hill's going to be owned. That's the issue for me, though. Like, I prefer JaMychal Green over Hill tonight. Price point, sure, Hill's cheaper, but just ownership. Like, Hill is going to be arguably one of the highest owned guys tonight. I'd probably say top 5 George Hill tonight. He's being, I assume, pumped in a lot of content. I haven't listened to any other content today. Or, I guess, listened to myself as I created my content this morning, right? Jackson Hayes, low-owned, cheap guy. Yeah, I mean, Jackson Hayes is going to be low-owned. The issue is you're going to get 14 minutes. Can Jackson Hayes get minutes is the big thing, right? Like, Jackson Hayes is somebody that they should probably be wanting to see a little bit more out of, right? And instead of not giving Jackson Hayes any run, he's probably somebody that they should start to get on the court a little bit more at this point. But they're just not going to cut into Steven Adams' minutes. He's playing well this year. Jackson Hayes, I currently have projected for 3 minutes tonight. So probably not somebody you want to play tonight is Jackson Hayes. Did I really only give him 3 minutes? Yeah, I only give him 3 minutes. Or is that supposed to be 13? That might be a mistake. Let me make sure it's not supposed to be 13. Either way, the projections on my final copy over here that are on Patreon are correct. Let me see. Hayes. So, yeah, no, the 3 minutes is a 13. So this is a 13. I finger fudged that earlier. So, yeah. Yep. So I gave him 13 minutes, not anything I want to be playing tonight. Your other answer to that is assuming that, I mean, a matchup against Rudy Gobert, even if there's foul trouble, is not great. I'm not going to be playing Jackson Hayes. If I played 150s, maybe, but not playing him tonight. Low one for sure, though. If Ingles plays, fade Clarkson. Yeah, Clarkson becomes a much worse play if Ingles plays. I'm currently projecting Ingram in. If Ingram is out, Clarkson is already priced for what his role is if Ingles is out. So I don't become as, I would say, like, interested in him, but he becomes more appealing if the ownership stays low. Like right now, the ownership on Clarkson, I assume you get a pretty decent discount because Ingles is going to be coming back. The problem with that is you're not going to get 28 to 30 minutes out of Clarkson if Ingles does come back. You're going to get Clarkson playing 22 minutes, 24, right? I got him at 24 or 25 right now. Let's see, I think I gave him 25. And 25 is highly generous. Yeah, I gave him 25 because of how well he's been playing. But if Ingles comes back and plays his normal 26, it's going to be hard for much more than 25 out of Clarkson. I don't know why they don't play Clarkson more. He's been fantastic on the offensive side at least. Clarkson, not as good of a play. If Ingles is out, Clarkson becomes a little bit better of a play. Not a smash play, though, because he's not 5,500. He's 6,500. He's already priced for as if Ingles was out. This has been a while now that Ingles has been out. Roby and Ball or Muscala and Murray tonight? I'll go Muscala and Murray. Best value if Ingles is out. So I mean, Ingles isn't that great of a value for me. The value wouldn't change. It would still be Roby. I assume you mean like what's your favorite play then on Utah if Ingles is out? It would probably become, or not favorite play, but like beneficial play. It would be Clarkson. Clarkson would get the bump. But Ingles isn't like a top value tonight by any means. Ingles on this slate is a pretty bad play. I have Ingles currently grading out as my, and keep in mind a 2-game slate here, so I only have 40 people in a player. I only have 40 players projected tonight, and Ingles is my 29th overall play. So even with Ingles in, Clarkson is still a better graded play for me. Clarkson will be my 23rd play. I'll put the link to Patreon so you can follow along if you want down below. I'll put that right now into the YouTube chat, into the internet sphere. There we go. Thoughts on Bojan? Playing better as of late. Really bad this year in terms of what his role is on this team. It is not as great for fantasy scoring and production. So that's the concern with Bojan. I think you're going to see a little bit elevated ownership on Bojan tonight compared to what you would normally see because he's had a couple of good performances as of late. But with that said, the shooting guard position is absolute dog shit, right? So assuming you're not paying for Brandon Ingram, which if you are, then you're not going to probably get Bojan. Bojan becomes one of the better plays in the slate at the small forward position just because of positionality, right? So there's not that many guys you can put in there. You're going to maybe put Diallo, maybe you punt with Pj Dozier, but then you're kind of flat. So Bojan starts to become like a guy that you're saying, okay, yeah, Will Barton, that's like your only real options. So far in the season, you're getting Bojan to average 0.71. This is a guy who was averaging like 1 fantasy point per minute last year. 0.71 fantasy points per minute, seeing a 20% usage rate. He's really suffering playing alongside Clarkson for this more increased run that Clarkson has had. Ingles being back would actually probably help Bojan's overall usage and shot chart, but he's only shooting 49.7% effective field goal rate. That's very bad. For example, Clarkson shooting 61%, Ingles 59%. We can go up to some other guys like Mitchell shooting 54%, right? What's your code on Jock Market? The code is SAL20, SAL20. There you go, my man. Hopefully you're still here, Kellen. Gobert plus Jokic equals optimal. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to prioritize Gobert tonight. Let me try and build some lineups here because Gobert's going to be relatively on, and I just want to check something on the positionality. So Roby's power forward eligible, which helps. Muscala's only center eligible. So assuming that you're playing, let's see what happens here. Like I just want to build a lineup quickly. If you put Jokic in it, if you saying what you were saying, you put Gobert in it as well, and then you put Roby, assuming that that's sort of a standard build tonight for anybody that's playing those 3 guys. Let's pull this up. Pull up OKC. Your remaining salary then would be $5,460, and that's already with having a value play in your lineup. So I mean, you're gonna have to find some other values. I don't think that's the optimal. I don't think that's the optimal. Are we playing Lou Dort tonight? My man spelled out Dort's whole name. Damn, what a savage, spelling out Dort's whole name. Are we playing Lou Dort tonight? Fine, right? Last game, played more minutes because of overtime, played very well, shot 15 times. Really what ended up getting him there, though, was 6 steals. So I probably won't play Lou Dort tonight. Again, I'm not playing 150, so in my single entry and 3 max lineups, I probably won't play Lou Dort. He's not going to be owned, though, so, I mean, that'll help you. But, I'm not going to be. So here's the thing with Lou Dort. He went up $1,000. It's a 2-game slate, yes, but he goes up $1,000 since his last performance, where he was already not the greatest of plays when he was like 4,100. He's just too expensive. Oh, but Sal scored 40 points. Yeah, he got 5 extra minutes because of overtime, and he had 6 steals, 7 steals and blocks in that game. So in that game, basically a third of his points, 33% of his points were off of steals and blocks. That's not going to remain that highly. And if it does, he's probably scoring like 15 points and not 40. So, yeah, Lou Dort's probably not somebody that I want to play. When he was at $4,100 and $4,500, I had no interest. Not somebody I want to play. And you might be saying, but Sal, he always gets steals and blocks. No, he doesn't. The games before that, 0. This is his steals. 6, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, right? Yeah. So definitely the outlier of all outliers, and then the price comes up for it. So Lou Dort is too overpriced for me. Are we playing? Yeah, so heads up 50-50 single entry. What does that mean? Sal, what's good? How you doing? How are you? Lonzo or Conley tonight? I'll go Conley there. What's your best value center option on DraftKings tonight? Thanks, Sal. What's going on, man? It would be Roby. I mean, Roby's power forward's not eligible, so you should be putting Roby in your forward spots tonight so you can get more centers in your lineup, but it would be Roby. Roby, Muscala, and Jokic look like the best plays on the slate from a center standpoint. What's up, Sal? How you feel about Diallo? Yeah, I do not normally like playing him, given the fact that it's a 2-game slate, given the fact that he has a massive ceiling. You just need him to be super efficient, right? Or just chuck a lot of shots in a short amount of time. But he's a shooting guard, small forward eligible player that there's not that many guys at that position tonight. Like you're choosing between like Will Barton and Pj Dozier and Bojan and Diallo. And the problem with Diallo is you're getting like on a good night 22 minutes out of him, right? But he played 29 minutes the other day. Okay, there was injuries, right? But on a good night, you're getting 22 minutes out of Diallo. Now, can he put up big points in those? Yeah. I mean, we saw 21 minutes, 24 points, right? 24 minutes, 43 points. But more times than not, in 22 minutes, Diallo probably puts you up at best around 20 points. So that's your issue with Diallo. If Diallo was $3,800, yeah, he's a great play, but he's $4,700. So I like him tonight because there's just a lack of options, but he's nowhere near a priority. You have to keep in mind, like he's $4,700. On this type of a slate, Diallo probably has to get you 20 to 25 to even start to become viable. If he gets you 20, it's like, right? So you're going to need 22 minutes out of Diallo tonight. The nice thing is he's going to chuck shots. You just need him to chuck more than 4 or 5. You need to chuck somewhere around 10 for it to really win you a GBP. Oh, a lot of comments coming in right now. Appreciate that, everybody. I've just realized I'm pretty fucking far behind scrolling and shit. So, yeah, a lot more people in here than I thought, so I appreciate that. Let's see. I'm telling you so much right now. I've gained so much from watching Sal. My gains and recent increase in profits are coming directly from switching to single entries, which is something he preaches. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Shout out to you. We got 600 people on the nose in here. Sal, I want to start a YouTube sports and DFS channel. Do you have any quick advice for starting a channel? Yeah. Be you. Right now, I don't really check YouTube like other creators in the DFS space, but I'm sure there's a lot more than when I started, when there was like 5 creators, right? So I had the benefit of there not being as much competition. I'm sure there's massive competition now. So yeah, be you. Be unique. You can't just pull up draft. I assume that there's a lot of people that create DFS content right now. They're just pulling up DraftKings. They're just pulling up the Vegas odds and just reading what's on the screen. Ain't nobody staying around for that. Have a motherfucking personality, right? Be you. Whoever you are in real life, let your personality shine, because that's your way of being unique. Now, obviously, you have to have good quality, whether it's your microphone, and you can find some good ones for literally $20, whether it's your camera setup. You have to have good quality. You have to have good information, right? It's a competitive space, but you also have to have a personality. That's the thing that's taking you over the top. The biggest pillars right now are be transparent, be yourself, be honest. These are my pillars, at least. Transparency, quality in the content, right? Consistency, and interaction. You have to interact, especially early on with your community. You have to treat everybody as if they're somebody that you want to come back to your channel. So be kind. And yeah, I mean, there could be extra pillars to that as well, right? But consistency is the biggest thing. Continue to put up content, but there has to be a level of quality there. If you're not used to being on camera, if you want to make a video, YouTube channel, you're saying, it might take a little bit of an adjustment period, but you don't have to invest $1,000, $20 mic, $40, $50 webcam will get it done. In less than $100, you have enough to start a YouTube channel and be at the adequate level that most people are probably on. And then you can upgrade from there. But yeah, consistency matters, and just being you. I can guarantee if I type in the NBA DFS stuff, I'll see the Awesome guys. They put out fantastic content. My stuff will probably pop up. I think that I do quality content. And then I'm sure as I scroll down, I'll see like 50, 60 other channels, and the far majority of them are probably stuck, maybe gaining a subscriber a day, because they're just, I mean, if you're making content and you're grinding, that's great, but you have to understand how to get unique. That could be your personality. That could be the way that you have your appearance on camera, your layout, whatever it might be. Have to get unique. Opening up the DraftKings salaries when there's creators like myself and Osmo out there that are well-versed in terms of just understanding the league and understanding the game, and just saying that this guy's a good play because he averages like 17 fantasy points per game because you're just reading that off of DraftKings, that's not adding value. So I guess that all sums up to just create value. Shout out Sally V. Thanks for the content and good luck. Same to you, my man. Sal almost took down the single entry $12 and under last night. Single bullet and ninth in the $15. Appreciate the streams. Let's go, Corey. Let's fucking go. Let's go. I watched your 2020 year in review video and it was interesting. Yeah, so a lot of people are going to watch that video, and I want that to make people get into the content game. I want people to know that it's not easy, right? Up until this point now, I'm going on doing this for full-time now. Since I started YouTube, it's been a little bit over 2 years. Full-time in the summer will be 2 years since I just like in my mind said it's a job, but I've been making money for about 3 years now on YouTube. But I mean, even up until this year, I'm still working 50 or 60-hour weeks pretty regularly. They scaled down a little bit as I got to get some people help me out contractor-wise and outsource. That's what I'm trying to learn even more this year. But 5 or 3 years ago when I started on YouTube, I was putting in 100-hour weeks while at college, like on YouTube. I was not going out. I was waking up at 5 a.m. and walking 30 minutes in the cold to shoot a video And on an old-ass laptop, that would take 2 hours to fucking upload it. It was brutal. But you have to put in a lot of work. Now with there being probably 10x to 20x to 30x to 50x the amount of creators out there doing very similar stuff, you're going to have to put in a lot of work, and trying to like fit a square peg in a circle, whatever the fuck the saying is not going to be enough. Like just the grind won't be enough as much. You have to find a way to get unique within that. And there's definitely ways when so many people are doing something very similar, it's very easy to get unique at that point. Let's scroll down and just see. Fellas, what's up, my man? How you doing? Yeah, check out the fellas hoodies down below and the t-shirts. Yo, Sal, Diallo or NWA? Diallo, assuming that Lonzo is back. Conley or Hill tonight? I'll go with Hill. You like Conley tonight? Yeah. Hey, Sal, becoming a regular on these streams. What's up, Sammy? How you doing, boss man? Welcome. I see we keep getting more and more people in here. We're going to stay on. We've been on for an hour, but why not stay on, right? Why not stay on? We got people asking questions. Let's answer them. Thoughts on Zion? I prefer him to Brandon Ingram. I think Zion's a pretty nice play today. There's a ceiling there that has not really been consistent this year, but the minutes have been there. So, yeah. Finally back from Norway to catch the Super Bowl. What's up, my man? Thoughts on Theo Meladon and the single entry? No interest for me. Hey, Sal, Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees? Rodgers, not even close. SGA just overpriced at this point, Sal. For a two-game slate, he's not dramatically overpriced. A little bit overpriced, yeah. No longer a value. If the ownership was low, I'd like him because we've seen that ceiling come out like for the last week and a half. But he's going to be owned at a top dollar price of the season on a two-game slate with other options. It's just easy to get away. Sal, is Reddick viable today? Not for me. I'm not really giving Reddick much minutes. I gave him 20 minutes. He's been terrible all season long. You're going to need Reddick to knock down his 4 3-pointers tonight, or his 3 3-pointers, right? Joker is going to eat tonight, probably. Conley or Murray? Murray for me. Is Joe Ingles playing? We do not have official news yet. He's the only questionable player currently on the slate. Sal, saw on the video today you like Ingram and Shai on Superdraft. Could you give me one more play you love for cash on there? Looking to build my core. Thanks. Yeah, probably Jokic. Jokic is the best center player on there. Is SGA fade and Murray? Sounds good. I have Hart, Hill, and Green in my single entry. Is that too many scrubs? I mean, you're on a slate that has scrubs, right? Like Hart, Hill, and Green, no. Just understand that Hill is going to be very highly owned. Green will be a popular value play. Hart will probably be low owned, so no. You have to play scrubs tonight. If you plan to play the two-game slate tonight, and this is why I don't like two-game slates. Like I might only play that $150 three entry max tonight, outside of like all the $5 and below stakes. I'm not going to probably play the main contest. I'll maybe put one lineup in as just a FOMO thing. I'm not going to play the 222 as of right now. Just too many people, 750 with a 22 max. So I'll rather play the smaller stuff. And at the end of the day, it's a two-game fucking slate. There's not that much edge on the slate. You're trying to get really lucky from shit players, right? That's what it comes down to. So I don't have to unload the clip like I normally do. I don't have to play yesterday like I did 4 figures on the slate. I'll play a couple $100, 150 I'm fine with today. We have a big slate tomorrow, big slate Friday. We at least have a decent size slate. I think a 3 or 4 game slate on Thursday. So yeah. Knock yourself out. Salvatore, my man, Rob Mysterio. Holy shit, are you Rey Mysterio's brother? Shout out. Let's see a thumbs up in the chat if you know who Rey Mysterio is. Salvatore, he says, can I start Aaron Rodgers and fade Jokic with confidence tonight? Yes, you can start the Super Bowl MVP tonight, Aaron Rodgers, the 2-time Super Bowl MVP, Aaron Rodgers tonight. We're foreshadowing there. Stack or not to stack? On a 2-game slate, you're naturally going to stack. I don't stack in the NBA, but on a 2-game slate, yeah. I mean, if I get 4 or 5 guys from the same team, it is what it is. There's only 4 teams to choose from, right? Reddick or Pj Dozier, is that even a relevant question? Yes, Dozier. I like Dozier there more so than Reddick. Dozier's still getting viable minutes. I have him at 24 minutes tonight. Reddick, and he's a better offensive player for fantasy by far this year than Reddick, and I have him for more minutes. So yeah. Sal, what's good with Kendrick Williams? Is he locked into the minutes he had the last 2 games? No, I don't think so. I think Kendrick Williams is somebody who's getting a little bit more extra run than he should, partly due to foul trouble. So I would not be comfortably playing Kendrick Williams tonight, assuming that he's just going to be playing the same minutes he's had these last couple of games. I gave Kendrick Williams 20 minutes. I think that number in my final projections was 18. So Kendrick Williams picked up more minutes in the last games because Isaiah Roby keeps getting in fucking foul trouble. That's as simple as it is. And there's no Al Horford still. And some other guys were dealing with injuries. So Kendrick Williams, not a good fantasy point per minute producer. He had 1 decent game where he saw extended run. I think he's a trap for anybody who plays Kendrick Williams tonight. I think he's a little bit of a trap tonight. Now, that being said, you're not going to see any ownership on Kendrick Williams, as you shouldn't. He'll probably be like 2% on this slate. Any Bledsoe interest tonight? Not really, no. The ceiling is just so lacking there when all these guys are healthy. Dozier or Reddick? Yeah, so we answered that one. JaMychal Green's shot is so ugly. How does it go in? Yeah. Green on Superdraft tonight? Green, I assume, as in JaMychal. My man Jermichael Green on Superdraft, not somebody I would play on Superdraft tonight, assuming that's the green you're talking about. I think that's the only green on the slate. Dozier over Reddick, but both are eh. Yep, that's the exact answer. My brother Sal, hope all is well, is playing Morris and Murray okay. What's up, my man, Artful? Yeah, I think that's okay. I think that's actually somewhat unique as well, as people probably won't play them both together. Sal says B-Dub. Any Kendrick Williams love? Not for me. Mitchell or Murray or SGA? I'll go Murray there. Sal, any love for Kendrick Williams? No. The Patreon should start using your logo for DK pictures so we can see each other winning. The Dollaruskis always see the Awesemo/DFS Army. Yeah, man, it's in there. Yeah, look at this. Ready? You can go on Patreon right now. You just sort by logo. So at the top of the screen where you'll see like all the sports so that you can filter depending on which sport you're trying to look for, the information and the tools. There'll be a little thing to the side that says, here, let's do this. Let's pull this up on the screen right now. So, all right, here we go. So basically, you go over to Patreon and you just click this thing right here, logo. So it'll say more options. You just click logo and logo to use on the DFS sites. I assume this is all coming up on the screen properly right now. I see that there's a super chat. We'll get to that. So it's a little, oh, there we go. Say, hi, attaching my logo if you'd like to use it on the DFS sites. And this is the PNG. And it is, I believe, the Sal Vetri logo that you're seeing in the top left corner over there right now on the screen. Stephen White donates $5. He says, Sal, I'm not good at NBA DFS, but I enjoy playing. I'm riding with you for the W. Thank you, Stephen. Not even a question there. Just being a kind man. If you want to leave a super chat, shout out my man. Shout out my man. Is Alexander a must play tonight? No, he is the worst play on the slate if you play him tonight. No, not the worst play, but he's a terrible play if Lonzo plays. Alexander, if Lonzo is in, he practiced yesterday. He says he's playing today. He says there's not an official report. Then there's no reason to be playing Alexander. Devin says, I've subscribed. Hit that like and subscribe. Let me know if you just found me. If tonight's your first time finding me because of this live stream, this is the first piece of content you ever said. I'm always curious like who those people are. Welcome. There's 650 in you here. I say there's a decent chance somebody just found me, so let me know. Kendrick Williams and Reddick will be in the winning lineup. Oh, man. No shot. Sal, I'm not good at NBA DFS, but I enjoy playing. I'm riding with you. My man, Steven, I appreciate that. That's the same guy who left the super chat. He says it again. Thank you. Thoughts on Bogdanovich and Jermichael Green? I like Jermichael Green more, but I think both are in play. A weak small forward position, it just leads to Bojan being a decent play. Hey, broski, sign up for Superdraft with your code. Ready to bank some Dollaruski, says Skyler. Appreciate you, my man. Yeah, if you're playing on Superdraft, you could use the code SAL. Yeah, really fun format over on Superdraft. Very fun time. Very, very, very fun time. Barton or Baisley tonight? I'll go with Barton there. What are your thoughts on Kendrick Williams? He's been playing good off the bench, but these past two games, do you think he could be around 25 DraftKings points? No, I do not. Kendrick Williams is not going to be highly owned. Kendrick Williams is somebody that people go and look at the score, the box score in DraftKings for and say, oh, he's doing something. Foul trouble, right? Higher ceiling games than he's ever had in his life, basically. I have Kendrick Williams for 16.2 fantasy points tonight at a price point that is not something that I want to be paying for at $3,600. If Kendrick Williams is $3,000 flat, maybe he's in someone in play, but not at $3,600. BK Reader is waiting for you on the 10.6K 3-man on DK YOLO. Yeah, sounds awful. SGA always screws me. Well, apparently you haven't played him the last 2 weeks because he's been nothing but money, basically. Can you go more than 2 guards from Denver? I mean, who's your guards, right? You're talking about playing Pj Dozier, Jamal Murray, and Monty Morris all together? I probably wouldn't. But if you're talking about playing Will Barton, Murray, and Dozier, yeah, I think you can do that. Marty S says, SGA has never played good versus Denver. Is that a 1-game sample? Right? Sal, Reddick versus Dozier. Do you like Gary Harris tonight? Not really. How many different lineups do you play on a nightly basis? Well, most nights that aren't a 2-game shitty slate, I play 150 maxes. I play single entry and three max, so like 150 lineups. Usually my single entry 3 max, I assume will be from my 150s, but I usually try and hand build them and just reference the 150s. So yeah, tonight I'm not playing 150s though. It's a terrible 2-game slate. I have no interest, and there's really no contest to play the 150 outside of the $18, which I hate. So yeah, I'll just be playing like 1 to 3 lineups tonight, single entry 3 max, with not a lot of exposure. Is Ingles playing tonight? We don't know yet, at least as of the last time that I looked. We're doing a long-ass stream tonight. I appreciate you all staying in here right now. 650 or so of you. We've already been live for about an hour and 10 minutes. Appreciate you all a ton. Let's pull up right now NBA. Also, check out, we just released the golf video for this week. Check that out. We'll have an NFL video tomorrow morning. No NBA video tomorrow morning, but I'll have an NBA live stream later in the day. I got to do about a 6-hour round trip for a doctor's appointment. Closest thing that I need to go to a specific doctor. So fucking far away. No updates on tonight. There's so much stuff updating for tomorrow. So yeah, no morning video for tomorrow's NBA, but there'll be a live stream around probably 4 p.m. Who do you like in the $6,100 to the $6,800 range tonight? Luckily, it's a smaller slate, so there's not going to be that many guys in that range. None of them are my favorite plays, but Conley and Steven Adams are probably the guys I like the most in that range, in that order. I just play 4 and play 1 and 3 single entry small field. Put $1 for 110. Nice job. 10x. Nice. That's awesome. Can't believe Alexander Walker is still so low. Lonzo Ball is coming in, so Alexander Walker has, no reason to be playing minutes tonight. He's not going to play 0 minutes, but he's going to resort back to playing 15 minutes, right? With Lonzo Ball returning, unless it's a blowout, if you think this game blows out, then yeah, he'll play 20 plus. But he's not playing the 33 and 33 he's played recently. And now he's $5,400, so in 15 minutes, pretty terrible play. Thoughts on Mike Conley and Clarkson on Yahoo? Yeah, I don't even know what Yahoo's salaries are. I haven't checked them in like a year plus. Diallo direct leverage off of SGA. Slightly. Not direct, but slightly. Yeah, I don't think he'll be the direct leverage. I think George Hill is your direct leverage, and they're both highly owned, so I don't think there's much leverage there. Everybody on OKC, if one guy stinks, the other guy should benefit. But if you're talking about like positionality-wise, yeah, it would be more so George Hill. But yeah, Diallo's right around there. I'm coming from Diallo to Green. I like that. What's good, man? Let's get this bread. Let's do it. Will let Bledsoe be affected by Lonzo playing? Yes. Sal, how do you feel about Adams tonight? Looks decent. Just tuned in. What's your thoughts on Isaiah Roby? Best value play in the slate. You probably don't get away from him, and he screws you when he gets 3 personal fouls in the first 5 minutes tonight. That's what's going to happen. Thoughts on Alexander Walker, even if Lonzo plays? I think he's one of the worst plays on the slate if Lonzo plays tonight because he's priced up and he'll play half the minutes that he has been playing. Alexander Walker tonight out of 40 ranked players is my 36th play tonight, assuming Lonzo plays. So, yeah, not in play. Fading Jokic, it will be a blowout. There you go. Best of luck. Any interest in Bazley? I know he's been really bad lately, but a perfect time to hop on. Yes. Bazley's at least in play compared to Dort, who's not in play. Like, Dort's price point rose a dramatic amount. Bazley's been bad, but he's getting the minutes more consistently. So slight interest, yeah, 5,600 slight interest, but I prefer other small forward options. Definitely other power forward options tonight, like a Roby. But the small forward options I would prefer over him are guys like Barton tonight, guys like Bojan tonight, which makes it a little bit more difficult to get the Bazley who's sandwiched in between them, especially when those guys that I'm talking about, like Barton will pick up ownership, but Bojan's not going to pick up a lot. So it makes it difficult to get to Bazley, who might even be higher owned than some of those guys tonight. Dozier or Williams? Dozier for sure. Thanks for the hard work, bro. No problem, Austin. I appreciate you being here. Can you play both Roby and Muscala? Yes. William donates $3 to the channel. He says, new to the channel. Give me that one lineup, bro. My man, William. I appreciate the $3 super chat. I can't give you a lineup. I don't even got any lineups built. I also don't hand out lineups. Here's the thing on lineup building. I appreciate the super chat. I can answer any questions you have, but not can you give me this lineup? Because the answer, for those of that OGs here, will Barton be high owned? Yeah, relatively. Sal, I won money with OG Bumanomi the other day. Nice work. But the thing with lineups is you should just play Aaron Rodgers in every single lineup spot. The other things with lineup is if you're paying anybody for a lineup, no offense to you, that's just stupid. And the person selling it to you is a scam artist for the most part, in my opinion. The person selling it to you, unless they're using that lineup and documenting using that lineup that they are selling to you for success, odds are that they're not winning with that, right? And if they're selling you a cash lineup, you're basically fucking paying the rake already to play cash. That's almost unbeatable now in NBA, and now you're paying more money for the lineup. So it's just so stupid. But yeah, you can build lineups. I have every single tool possible. These videos, it's like everything I've done research for are supposed to help you. But an entire lineup, just play Aaron Rodgers in every spot, man. Thoughts on Oni if Ingles is out? Yeah, I'll put him from, I think, like 4 minutes. I have Oni right now at 4 minutes. I'll put him to like 15. He won't be in play. Boyka, 619. Hey, how much is it for Patreon? It depends on the tier that you want. The second that you go to that link, it will give you all of your options, so you can check it out. Sal, I appreciate your content. Wondering if you use RotoTracker or anything software to track your results. All the best. I usually track them on my own, but sometimes like once in a while I'll track RotoTracker, but I don't like paying monthly for it. So what's up, Sal? Thanks for the content. No problem, man. Who gets him up if no Lonzo tonight for you? Alexander Walker. Are Alexander and Jokic must-haves? Alexander is not in play for me if Lonzo starts, so no, but Jokic, yes. Feel like Reddick hits tonight. Sounds good. Morris or Green? Green, but I like both. Last man in, Gobert or Murray? Murray. Salvatore, my doctor tells me to drink heavily and forget about it. You know my doctor, Vinny Gumbates? I don't know who the fuck that is. Also, Josh Allen over Aaron Rodgers. Josh Allen's in the chat right now. How you doing? 4th string runner-up for MVP. MVP, Rodgers all day, every day. I like it. Sal, New York in the building. What up? What up, man? What borough you from? Manhattan? Where you from? You don't think Kendrick Williams will get garbage time if the game is blown out? Even if Kendrick Williams gets garbage time and you get that unlikely scenario right of garbage time, which is probably not that likely, if you get that right, Kendrick Williams still sucks at basketball. So there's that. It's funny how Kendrick Williams in garbage time, where there's not even garbage time, but there's foul trouble in a game, goes out there and has one of the best games of his career the last 2 times out, right? 15 minutes, he scores 25 fantasy points, right? He shoots 4 of 5. Then he shoots 6 of 6. The last 2 games, not a good basketball player, Kendrick Williams, in terms of fantasy and in terms of just real life offense. He is 10 for 11. He is 10 for 11, right? That's his shooting percentage right now, 10 for 11. A good shooting time would be 5 for 11. That would be very good in the NBA. He's 10 for 11. He's clearly playing massively over his head, barely plays minutes, going to play some minutes tonight into the teens, and everybody wants to jump on these last 2 days. That's why there's still an edge in DFS. The 5 to 10% of people that play Kendrick Williams tonight are going to be paying your rake. Because let's look at Kendrick Williams before that. 0 of 1 shooting, 0 of 3 shooting, 0 of 5 shooting, 1 of 3 shooting, 0 of 1 shooting, and then he goes 4 of 5 and 6 of 6, right? One of those things is not like the other, or the last 2 performances. So, yes, I would not expect Kendrick Williams to do anything tonight. I would suspect if Kendrick Williams plays tonight, he gets you somewhere around 15 minutes of play. He scores about 2 real life points and gets you about 3 or 4 rebounds, and he scores about 10 real life points more times than not. Can I fade BI? Yes. Best point per dollar value from the Pelicans aside from Zion, if this was already the answer. Best point per dollar value from the Pelicans is Steven Adams. Bojan and Conley are my only Jazz. Thoughts? I think that the Chiefs win this week, Josh Allen. Are you playing the $18 tournament tonight? What's up, Q Allen? I might put my single entry lineup into the $18, but outside of that, no. I'm not actively gunning for the $200,000 to first. If I put it in there, it's because I have FOMO that if my single entry lineup blows the fuck up and wins the $5,000 150 max tonight, or $5,000 $150 buy-in tonight, and it would have won the $200,000 to first, I would have FOMO for about a week. Actually, I'd probably have FOMO for like a day and not give a shit. Salem, single entry, is Jokic a must-have? Yeah, probably. Yep. All right, everybody, we've been live for a very long time. I appreciate everybody tuning in for a 2-game motherfucking slate. Almost 700 people at one point, so thank you. I'm going to bounce. We've been live for almost an hour and a half, hour, 15 minutes, so hit the like and subscribe before you go. If you want to check out any merch, if you want to check out Patreon down below, you can. And again, the sponsor of the show is Jock Market. You're just tuning in right now. Daily Fantasy Sports meets a stock exchange if you want just $20 credit to play with. I know your phone is right next to you. Sadly, we are addicted to our phones. Very sadly, I would say. But if you want to just open up your phone, go to your app store, Jock Market, JOCK, space MKT, Jock Market, like the stock market, but for daily fantasy sports, you can buy stock and players, identify value. It is so easy to get smash plays some nights on Jock Market, especially when they have weird start times like 9 p.m. Like last night, Anthony Davis was selling for $5 a share. He should have been double that price. He ends up balling out, and he like 5Xs for you. So your buy-ins and your shares. So check it out. You use the promo code SAL20, SAL20, and you will get yourself a very nice little $20 credit to play with. What's up, Sal? Any interest in low-owned Pj Dozier? Yes. Thanks, Sal. The MVP. Jay Lopez, I appreciate that, man. All right, everybody, peace out. I'll see you in the next chat week. Remember those words, my man. I will, my man. Josh, I will. All right, peace out, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. See you on the next one. You all rock. Enjoy your Tuesday night. Massive slate tomorrow. We'll be back live around 4 p.m. East Coast time. Look out for the morning video for the NFL. There's already a golf video out for Thursday's event. The AMAX, the American Express, no longer 3 courses, just 2. So an interesting thing there. You all rock. Thanks for chilling with me today. Enjoy the rest of your night. Stay safe out there, everybody. And text your friends and your family members and check on their mentals. A lot of people be sad these days and dealing with some stuff. So text them. Let them know you're thinking about them. Peace out, gang.